Hi everyone, welcome back to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a book called Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. And this book is about a little girl who is afraid of thunderstorms. And so to help her with her fear of thunderstorms, her grandma bakes a cake with her and she calls it Thunder Cake. And this is actually based on Patricia Polacco's real childhood experience. So her babushka would bake her a thunder cake whenever she would get scared of the thunderstorm, and it would make her feel better. And then, if you stick around after I read the story, I'm gonna try and bake Grandma's thunder cake myself. Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. On sultry summer days at my grandma's farm in Michigan, the air goes damp and heavy. Storm clouds drift low over the fields. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp, crackling light, and then a roaring, low, tumbling sound of thunder makes the window shudder in their panes. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house. Babushka, as I used to call my grandma, had come from Russia years before. But I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when the storm moved near the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is thunder cake baking weather, all right. Looks like a storm is coming to me." "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. The air was hot, heavy, and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake," I stammered, as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting, real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is. Understand?" she asked. "We need to know how far away the storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be real thunder cake." Her eyes surveyed the black clouds way off in the distance. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained page to a crease spot. "Here it is, thunder cake." She carefully penned the ingredients on a piece of notepaper. "Now let's gather all the things we'll need," she exclaimed as she scurried toward the back door. We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the thunder roared. 10 miles! It's 10 miles away," Grandma said as she looked at the sky. "About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful-like," she said. Eggs from mean old Nellie Peck Hen. I was scared. I knew she would try to peck me. "I'm here, she won't hurt you. Just get the eggs," Grandma said softly. The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I counted. 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. Milk was next. Milk from the old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I counted. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. I was scared as we walked down the path from the farmhouse through tangleweed woods to the dry shed. Suddenly, the lightning slit the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I counted. Boom, ba-boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. How brave of her, right? Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now, we haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient. I wonder what the secret ingredient is. What do you think? 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed up high on the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I counted. Oh, it's getting closer, right? Kabang! Boom-a-room! The thunder growled. We hurried back to the house and the warm kitchen, and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. And finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans and put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen. I only counted to 3, and the thunder rumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why aren't you afraid of thunder? You're too brave, she said, as she looked right at me. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? But you got out from under it, she answered. And you got eggs from mean old Nellie Peck Hen. You got milk from old Kick Cow. And you went through tangleweed woods to the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all them things. I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. I wonder what the cake looks like. Let's see. That looks delicious. Just then the lightning flashed, and this time it lit the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled, boomed, crashed, and baroomed just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed, just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting on top of our thunder cake. As rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea from the samovar. When the thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards, we just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of thunder again. And here's the recipe. So if you want, you can join me and I'm going to head over to the kitchen and I'm going to try and make a thunder cake myself. Now I am going to try and bake Grandma's thunder cake. I don't know if it'll be as good as hers. I'm not the best baker, but I'm going to try. So here are the ingredients that you'll need. So first you'll need 1 cup of shortening. I didn't have that, so I used 2 sticks of butter. You'll need 1 3/4 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then you'll need 3 eggs, and these will be separated. You'll also need 1 cup of cold water, 1/3 cup of pureed tomatoes, the secret ingredient. And for your dry ingredients, you're going to need 2½ cups of cake flour, 1/2 cup of dry cocoa, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And that is everything you'll need to bake this cake. And a furry friend if you have one. So first you're going to want to separate your eggs, so 1 bowl with your yolks and 1 with your egg whites. And try very hard not to get shells in like I almost did. And next you're going to cream together the shortening and sugar, or the butter and sugar like I did. So I used a hand mixer for about 2 minutes until it was fluffy, and then I used a spatula to scrape off the sides. And then I just added vanilla and now my egg yolks, and then I'm going to beat these all together. And now I'm going to add my 1 cup of cold water to the mixture. We'll add the tomato puree, our secret ingredient. And now we'll mix it all together. We'll beat the egg whites until they peak and they're nice and stiff for about 2 minutes. We'll fold them into our tomato egg mixture. And next we'll sift together all of our dry ingredients, so the flour, cocoa, salt, and the baking soda. We'll add the dry mixture to the wet mixture, and then we'll mix it all together. Keep mixing until the batter is nice and smooth. So next we're going to grease and flour 2 8-inch cake pans. So first we're going to use butter and get it all on the bottom and on the sides. And then we'll add some flour and then shake it up and make sure that it gets all over the pan. And this is so that the cakes don't stick. So now we'll add our cake batter to the 2 pans. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I only have 1 cake pan, so I baked each cake at 2 separate times. So you should bake the cake for 30 to 35 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now for the fun part, we get to put chocolate frosting on our cake. So make sure that the cakes are completely cooled before you put any frosting on them, or else it will melt. I put some frosting in between the two cake layers so that they stick. And now I'm just messily spreading frosting all over the cake. And then I washed and cut some strawberries, and I'm gonna put them on the border of the cake. And there you have it, I baked a thunder cake. I don't know if it's nearly as good as Grandma's, but I gave it my best. And thank you so much for joining me in Storytime today, and thank you so much for watching me bake this cake, and I hope to see you very soon at our next Storytime. Bye!